What's up, everybody? This is the DeFi enthusiast from the Crypto Ronins. I hope that you're all doing well. So today, the price of Bitcoin at the time of this recording is at $71,300. The Bitcoin dominance is at 56.9%, and the Ethereum is at 10.2%. And of course, and then the rest of the altcoins follow. So, guys, it's been a crazy time, with the war situation, as we discussed last time. Things are very unstable. Markets are very volatile. Some people are very bearish. Some people are saying that Bitcoin is going to go to 20,000, 40,000. If we see some really crazy moves, within this war situation, then yeah, it is possible to go to levels like maybe 55,000, 58,000. But some people are saying the bottom is already in. So in my personal opinion, guys, if someone was starting out in crypto right now, what I would tell them is that you should focus on, instead of trying to look for the low caps first, that's actually how I got into the markets. I was researching into really good utility plays that were in the lower market cap range. And basically I saw a lot of great gains, over the years. I also lost a lot of money. I also made a lot of money. And that's just how the process is. But if somebody was starting out and they really wanted a solid plan, I would always tell them at least try to accumulate 0.1 Bitcoin, as in 0.10 Bitcoin. Now, at the time of this recording, that would cost you about, $30. Just a few days ago, it was $6,000. And this shows how volatile the markets are. But the reason why I say this is because if you truly genuinely believe in the crypto markets, if you believe in cryptocurrency, if you believe in the future of tokenization, if you believe in all of that, right, then obviously it makes a lot of sense to actually have some Bitcoin in your portfolio. And if we keep that thesis where Bitcoin is going to go into the millions and millions of dollars in a few years, because of the massive amount of influx of money that is going to be coming into the markets, then it would be wise to have 0.1 Bitcoin, because that could be worth a serious amount of cash for you guys. And also keep in mind that there's only 1 million Bitcoin left in circulation that is meant to be circulated. That's all that is left now, which of course, due to the way the tokenomics are designed and the way the emissions are for Bitcoin for the supply to come out, it could take quite a long time. But the point is, there's not a lot of left now, and there's a lot, demand is going to grow as the markets, start to recover step by step. Are we in the bottom? I don't know. It all depends on this war situation at the moment that has been going on. So if it settles down, then yeah, we should start seeing some upside. But if it doesn't, expect more volatility, maybe more downside as well. Now, today I want to talk about, one of the most obvious plays, which is Ethereum, right? And Ethereum right now is sitting at $2,110 at the time of this recording. As I've always stated countless of times, Ethereum is the silver of the cryptocurrency market. And it would make a lot of sense, to try to, buy as much as you can. Now, over the last, a few years, Ethereum really hasn't, moved much. We've seen it struggling, but institutions are massively accumulating this, whether they're doing it off chain through OTC deals or privately or whatever, but they are accumulating a ton of Ethereum. And it obviously makes a lot of sense, because if you look at this article that was posted, where BlackRock had talked about, Ethereum is going to benefit most from the tokenization wave. We're seeing the tokenization of everything coming. As you already know, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury has already stated that that all, everything from the S&P 500 to many big companies to tech companies to stocks, everything's going to be, tokenized. Everything is going to be moving to the blockchain. And it's pretty obvious that blockchain is Ethereum, and BlackRock already, kind of gave that hint back in the beginning of this year. And as you can see, Ethereum stands to gain the most from the tokenization wave, washing over Wall Street, BlackRock says. As we look towards the next era of tokenization, Ethereum may be poised to be a beneficiary of growth. In its 2026 outlook, citing the network's share of the tokenization market, Ethereum hosts over 65% of tokenized assets, with a commanding lead over second place, which is BNB Chain, which hosts about 10% according to BlackRock. So BlackRock's view came as it said tokenization is a trend it is watching this year. The company framed it as a new way to access markets. It said the concept was becoming popular, citing growing stablecoin adoption. And in our view, as tokenization continues to rise, so will the opportunity to access assets beyond cash and U.S. treasuries via the blockchain. BlackRock strategists, led by the U.S. head of thematic and active ETFs, Jay Jacobs, said. So it aligns with the December column by The Economist, where CEO Larry Fink and operating chief Rob Goldstein, they all said in the column, and the company's stock executives described tokenization as the next major evolution in financial infrastructure. And yes, the shift is coming, guys. All this stuff you're seeing around you, the wars, the chaos, which is very, very unfortunate, whatever is going on. But that, while all of that is happening, the markets are being restructured. The markets are being reset. Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but even NVIDIA CEO said that you only have until 2030 to, become financially free and rich. There are a lot of things being thrown around, and I don't want to spread a lot of fear. But the point is, you have an opportunity right now, and like I predicted more than 2 years ago, that when the institutions come, the markets are going to be very depressing, and people are going to be wanting to give up. People are going to also lose a lot of money, which is exactly how it played out. And because they want most people out, because why do they want most people out? They want most people out because there is so much of an influx of money that is coming into the market, which is going to be unfathomable. Right now, it doesn't seem like that, but it's going to be unfathomable, and most people are going to miss out on it because they gave up and they left the markets. So if you can go through the storm, if you can, carry yourself forward, you're going to come out stronger than ever, and you're going to make what I believe is some of the most life-changing money that you'll ever see. And that's exactly why we recommend Crypto Ronins, and we'll get into that. So Ethereum, right? I mean, look at the validators. There stake Ethereum. If we look at it, there is, most 30.95% of Ethereum is already staked. That's the entire supply of Ethereum. The more than 30.95% has been staked, guys. It is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And this is impressive, very, very impressive, because that shows you that, within the next 10 years, more and more Ethereum is going to come out. It's going to be out of the reach, out of the circulating supply, as Ethereum becomes the go-to chain for real world assets. I think RWAs are going to be one of the biggest use cases of blockchain technology, besides being a payment ramp on system for AI agents as well. And definitely Ethereum is there, guys. And as I've mentioned in a few of my previous videos, Ethereum has already solved its problem of the high gas fees as well. So very, very impressive stuff, guys. I see a lot of growth here. I see this is one to accumulate for the long term. Everybody keeps asking, hey, set up a long-term portfolio for me. And I always tell them 0.1% Bitcoin, and then start, accumulating some Ethereum. Maybe get a little bit of Solana. And of course, one project that I want to talk about is this one is in the AI sector. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because we're going to be doing a revised deep dive on it. And basically, I talked about this project more than a year ago. Yeah, more than a year ago, or maybe it's been 2 years, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. But when I talked about it, it wasn't even on CoinGecko, and it was in the single digits. It was only being traded within its chain, within where it was. And it wasn't even on CoinGecko, and it was in the single digits. I'm talking about none other than Bittensor, TAO. Now, TAO is a very, very impressive project, which I believe, some people even call it the next big thing after Bitcoin. I know nothing has really proven that So far, there have been many that have claimed to dethrone Ethereum. That has never happened. And I'm not saying that TAO is going to dethrone Bitcoin, not by a long shot. It is definitely a revolutionary project within the AI space. And here's what's interesting. If you want to see the deep dive, which we're about to do in our next newsletter, that's going to be on Bittensor, guys. And I'm going to be revising my thesis from more than a year ago on TAO, and we're going to be adding new information to it. So you guys should subscribe to our newsletter. Highly recommended. Okay, that you check it out. But anyways, so you can see, people keep talking about, give me a long-term portfolio. Now, I gave this coin when it was in the single digits. On CoinGecko, there was never came in the single digits to begin with. Okay. Oh yeah, way more than even 2 years then, because wow, it's been almost 3 years since it was here. But when I saw TAO, it was in the single digits. I think it was $3 or $4, maybe five. Okay. And, so already when it started to catch attention of exchanges and it started to come on to the markets, it was already like, it was already at $30. And then on March 7th, 2024, it went all the way up to $757. And if you got in from my price point, that would have been a ton of, monumental excess for you, right? So yeah, when people talk about, give me something long term, that's where the deep research comes in, guys. Okay. That's where, people always want a portfolio, which is, sort of set up for the long term. There are people that are in this market for the short term gains, but the reality is to make the most life changing amount of money, you need to be in the markets for the long term. And you got to be patient and you have to analyze and you have to pivot even sometimes, because there are so many grifters and scammers in this space that I cannot even begin to fathom the level of scams that take place in crypto. So that is the biggest risk factor, because you are basically getting into a new world of startup land. Okay. So everybody is trying to sell you the next big thing. And then, most of the times it's just only on paper and it's vaporware. And then sometimes, even if there is some truth to it, the truth is actually jaded. It's not fully there. The information is not fully there. You think you're being sold this really, really great, fantastic project or product, and then that project doesn't come through. And, there are a lot of holes in there, plot holes in whatever they've been telling you, whatever they've been stating. So, always verify before you, make your final decisions on anything. But however, that is the markets. There are a lot of risks here, a lot of high risk factors, but that is why, we're here. We're here to, go through this process with you. So, we can set up a long-term portfolio for you, the one where you can 10, 20, 50, even 100x. And that's our goal with the Crypto Ronins, guys. So I highly recommend you join that. So anyways, the guy who talked about Bitcoin when it was at $11 is now talking about TAO. And that guy is Barry Silbert. This guy is one of the, he's part of the DCG, right? And basically, they buy and invest in blockchain companies, parent of Grayscale. Now, this guy is no joke. This guy is a big fish. And look what he retweeted just, 7 hours ago. So what you need to know about TAO is this, look, Google's not going to 100x from here. You're not going to invest in Anthropic. You're not going to be able to invest in OpenAI, because those are reserved for the elite Silicon Valley VCs. When you kind of get through all of those questions in a decision tree, you're really left with Bittensor. So Larry is bullish. Larry is talking about this early. This is the same guy um, who spotted Bitcoin at $11 and bought a lot of it, and now he is looking into Bittensor TAO as well. And of course, he's not as early as me, because I called it way, way, way earlier, but I don't have the type of insane levels of money and contacts and all of that like him. However, my analysis and my thesis has been proven to be correct, that TAO is going to be one of the biggest players in this industry, unless something, unfathomable, unimaginable happens. And trust me, there's a lot of impossible negative stuff that also happens in this market. So there's always risk, guys. However, if there's no risk, there's no reward. And that's just how it is. So if you want, a, the best information, in my opinion, regarding the markets, what's going on, if you want a portfolio set up for you for the long term. If you want something for the midterm or even short term, if you want suggestions, ideas, projects that are truly innovating, stuff that you can normally find throughout all the noise on social media and all of that, then you want, to make those 100x's, 50x's, 10x's, 20x's, then join Crypto Ronins now, and highly recommended. And we would appreciate the support. It encourages us as well. And we look forward to seeing you inside our newsletter. Sign up. It's very easy, and you're going to start getting some information that I genuinely believe will be rewarding for you, in the very near future. So, guys, this is me, the DeFi enthusiast from the Crypto Ronins, signing out. I hope that you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Take care of yourselves, guys. Remember, subscribe to the newsletter. Huge revised deep dive on Bittensor is coming out very soon. Take care, guys. Bye.